Live. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the Monday edition, kicking off another week of the Real Estate Show. We are South Florida's #1 program about real estate. We are America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. So welcome to real estate friends all over the world that are listening to us. We are here 5 days a week. You know, 5 is the big number, right? We're here live at 5 days a week. That's 5 individual live shows coming at you 5 different ways. We come at you from the AM side on our AM 1470. We're on the FM dial at 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM. We've got, then we have our streaming that is also through some of the radio apps. So if you have the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, I should come up with 5 of those too. But you've got the streaming app that allows you to listen to our radio show on the go. No matter where you are, you can listen to different radio stations all over the country. So no matter where you are, just look for 1470 WWNN Money Talk Radio. That's 1470 Money Talk Radio, 1470 WWNN. And you can listen to us that way, and you can listen to us as we stream this radio show live on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Easy to remember, automaticlandlord.com. It's a process, a system that we pioneered right here, showing landlords how to own property hassle-free and more profitably. So those are the 5 different ways. Oh, no, the 5th way is the Facebook page. You can also watch our radio show as we broadcast it and stream it live on our Facebook page. That is on Facebook under The Real Estate Show. Just it's all one word, The Real Estate Show. If you don't have a Facebook account, doesn't matter. You can just go to facebook.com/The Real Estate Show altogether. And you can join us for that way. Now, on our Automatic Landlord website, automaticlandlord.com, and on the Facebook site, we also archive the recordings there. So you can listen to us live there. You can listen to us on demand there. On our website, you can even download the podcast version so that you can take us with you, whether you're up in the air without internet access. But if you got internet access, there's lots of different ways, 5 different ways for you to catch the radio show. So that's how we roll here on the Real Estate Show, 5 days a week, 5 different ways. In addition to that, we also have our weekend edition where we go back to back all of our shows in our Real Estate Marathon. That's Sunday night at 9 p.m. By the way, all these times are Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern time is when our show is live. 9 p.m. Eastern is when we roll them all back to back for our Real Estate Show Marathon. And we also want you to know that the Real Estate Show here, even though we've been talking a bit about the markets and the stimulus and you know what's going on in the general economy, real estate is neat because real estate is about Main Street. It's about your street, not about Wall Street. And so a lot of what we're talking about, it can be very regional. And even though every region is different, what we talk about are the basic concepts that will help you to make better real estate decisions here. And in addition, by the way, don't let us forget that besides all of those shows, we've got a number of workshops going. And so I'm going to talk about that on today's show, as you know, our Monday on a Mission, where we set up the theme of the week. And as I sort of let the cat out of the bag last week, for the last 2 weeks, we were talking about 2 of the 3 most important factors in acquiring real estate. And we had a conversation about what those 3 factors were. Number 1 was credit, right? That's sort of the first filter that you go through. We talked last week all about credit, what makes it up, how to affect it, how you can change it, how we can help you change it in under 30 days with our credit X-ray. And we can show you how we can actually pop your credit score up a number of points, maybe enough to get you the loan that you have that you couldn't get before. So if the bank said no, give us a call, type in the word credit If you want us to contact you, type in the word credit to 561-861-2366. That's an automated response that'll get you connected so that you can either get the information about our credit workshop, which we have every Tuesday night, and it'll also send you an opportunity if you want to go online and set up an appointment directly. So no one's going to call you, but they will make it available so that you can call us if you want. So you got the credit is a key term, a keyword there on our smart line. Then we talked about the second factor, which is the down payment. We spent a whole bunch of time talking about all the different down payment assistance programs that we have. Some of them are our own proprietary down payment assistance strategies. Some of them are city, county, and statewide programs, and a couple of federal ones too. So if you don't buy real estate, it's not because you couldn't find a down payment, because we showed you where to get one. If you didn't buy real estate or can't buy real estate, it's not because of the credit, because we showed you how we can fix and overcome that obstacle. And the third major factor, of course, is income, the ability to repay. Because after all, everybody who lends money wants to know that the person borrowing the money has the ability to repay. And so we're going to spend this entire week talking about different ways to show how you can repay the loan, and in some cases, how you can boost. We had one month where we spent the whole month, and this was earlier in the pandemic when so many people were laid off and were unemployed, that we started talking about freelancing or doing some side jobs, or as many people refer to them as gigs. And we're going to revisit some of that this week. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about how we can help you by increasing income if you need to do that, creating income if you need to do that, and verifying income if you need to do that. So we got a very interesting week, very practical, very important, because one way or another, no matter how you buy a property, whether you pay cash or whether you borrow the money entirely, you're still going to address all three of those issues. And depending, if all three of those are strong, you can pick whatever you want to do. If one of those is absent or weak, well, then we've got to strengthen one of the other legs. Think of it as sort of as a three-legged stool. And if one of those legs is weak, then the other two better be very strong, and they're going to have to make up for some of the weakness in the other areas. So this will be a very interesting. And then if you missed any one of those previous 2 weeks, it's a good time to go back and review those shows, because that will give you the full background that you'll need in order to go forward with this. So we also have a number of workshops that I wanted to mention. Our Monday night workshop, this Monday night, completely full, but it is now we're using an expansion group. These are folks that have now mastered the art of the equity accelerator and now are going out and sharing that. And by the way, making money on the side. So if you want to learn what it is, and then you get so enthusiastic that you want to share it with others, yes, there is a way. There's an income opportunity with that as well. If you want to share what you've learned in the credit accelerator, there's an income opportunity there. So keywords, remember, equity or the word credit. Text it to 561-861-2366. Even if you just want to get information, how do you make money helping other people with their credit? How do you make money showing people how to pay off their debt a lot sooner? The equity accelerator. How do you make money showing people how to pay off debts earlier? Again, the debt eliminator program. All of these are crucial parts of getting ready to be able to buy a home. And after all, our emphasis has been largely on showing first-time home buyers how they can get access to the real estate market to own a little piece of the American dream. After all, everybody should own it. The only reason why you don't, it's not because there's not enough income, because we're going to talk about that all week long. It's not because of the down payment. We've already talked about that. We've talked about the credit issue. So we're going to talk a little bit also during this week about setting up a plan. There's the traditional, right? The 40-year plan, go to school, go to college, graduate, get a job, work 40 years, and hopefully have enough money to retire. We're going to talk a little bit this week why a lot of times, that the whole idea of an IRA account by itself, being able to save $6,000 a year. Think about that. 40 years times $6,000 a year. If you started now, means that in 40 years from now, you'll have 7,000 times 40. You're talking about $280,000. Will that be enough for you to live for another 30 years after that, where the life expectancy, most people are finding out that they have more retirement at the end of their money, more month at the end of their paycheck. And so we're going to talk about how you can create perpetual income with a real estate portfolio. If you watched last Thursday's show, we gave you a deeper insight into that. But we're going to talk about that instead of having a 40-year plan. Imagine if you could have a 5-year plan, a 5-year plan to retire instead of 40 years. And that's what's possible in real estate if you do it the right way. And we're going to lay that out on our Thursday show, which is the About the Money edition of the show. So remember, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Hear a few words from our sponsor to see what the time is, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk about the rest of the week. Each day has a theme. Each day carries the idea of income from a different perspective, so you're not going to want to miss a single one of these shows. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial. I'll be right back. So how was everybody's weekend? It was a nice weekend. It was a sudden surprise little vacation this weekend down in the Keys. Got a nice invitation to go down to Hawks Cay, where they had a special event down there, a little country, some famous country bands, by the way, national artists singing to a very small crowd. It's like going to a party. A parking lot party is what it was. And it was kind of fun. Beautiful weather. Great scenery. Oceanside, by the way. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. Now in its 22nd year, through good times and through bad times, through ups and downs in the economy, recessions, even the Great Recession, and then through worldwide pandemics. The Real Estate Show here has been a beacon of light for real estate buyers, investors alike, who want to go and get the right information about what's actually happening in the marketplace, which is why on Wednesdays we have our midweek report. And what we do is we go out into the marketplace, given the theme that we're talking about. And so right now we're talking about the topic of real estate. And and we talk about income with real estate, or income to help you buy real estate. So we were looking at, even just as the week gets started, looking at a couple of the topics that are out there. By and large, the economy looks like it's doing very well. The stock market, forward-looking indicators seems to tell us that we're doing well. We're seeing interest rates creep up, which is usually a sign that the market is doing well. It's usually a tool to put the brakes a little bit when you're seeing. I was looking at some of the statistics, which we'll cover more in depth on Wednesday, but year over year increases in prices are in the double digits. Year over year increases in the number of units sold were in the double digits. So everything points to, as we talked about at the end of last year, 2021 will be a lot like 2020, but better. And especially, hopefully, if the vaccine and the pandemic, the virus continues to show better numbers, when people can move about and go about more easily and get back to business. We're watching the unemployment numbers go down. We're watching the even the GDP The latest published numbers for GDP showed that it was increasing at the rate of 4%, which is a lot more. It's almost double the usual 2 to 3%. So that is a very positive effect. We saw last week when we were focusing on our midweek report talking about credit. We were talking about how many Americans saw their balances drop on credit cards, their credit scores increase on their credit, and you're going to see a similar trend. And certainly what's even more important is the consumer confidence numbers that I'm going to share with you on Wednesday. You're going to see that they're very optimistic and really pointing to, I think, some very good performance for the rest of the year. Interestingly, and then I'll cover in some unique demographics. It's interesting that younger folks are more optimistic than some of the older folks. The millennials and the newer generation are more optimistic than the baby boomers are in terms of what their finances for this year will be. Now, keep in mind, a lot of them are getting ready to retire, so their outlook is more preservation than it is increase. But this is why this week, when we talk about income and sort of creative ways to generate more income, the idea of a more independent economy, you're going to see that. So the more autonomous that you are, the better your ability to generate your own income, whether it's through some of the influence marketing, through some of the self-employment opportunities that are out there. It's all about the information and the knowledge now. You've got to have it. You've got to at least be aware of it. And I heard a cool little saying that says, if you don't know, the money won't show. And that's why you've got to go out there and figure out that what happens. What is your plan B even? If like many people found out last March, amazing, right? We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of the pandemic, when many people who thought that their jobs and their careers were safe and that was almost impervious to the economy. Well, all you need is a worldwide pandemic to change everything. And I think that a lot of things won't go back. We talked about the working remotely, and whether some of the jobs will go back into the office, whether some of the jobs, and I'm talking about those are as an employee, whether some of those will go back or whether they'll be able to work part-time from home or full-time from home or not. And there you're at the mercy and the decisions of the hierarchy of that organization. Whereas when you generate your own income, well, you go back to where you were working before, which in many cases is the home. Which brings us back to the whole concept of being involved in real estate. Other than in addition to being personally rewarding, helping folks, first-time home buyers realize the American dream, helping families create a better environment to raise their kids, a more stable environment. Today, that environment is even more important, since it's not just a home where you go home, eat, and sleep. It's also probably where your kids learn in school. It's where many people are actually working and spending, virtually 24 hours a day, their work day and their leisure time. It could be their gym and a whole source of other things, and where in small groups people are still congregating. So it sort of becomes, the corporate cafeteria, the party facility, and so the areas that opened up, you see the construction is doing very well in real estate. Home improvements are doing very well in real estate, in addition to real estate itself. You see that there's a shortage of places to rent. I was having a conversation a couple of days ago with one of our realtors over in the Texas market. And as we were talking about how in this time of high demand and the moratoriums. Oh, by the way, I got to talk to you about the moratoriums. Many of you might have seen that a Texas judge just recently ruled that the moratorium itself is unconstitutional and therefore can't be enforced. And let me tell you this, that if there is merit to that, and of course there is, you're going to see the banks jump all over that, because they don't want to sit another year or even another few months not collecting payments, as they have their investors that they have to keep satisfied. And it's this domino effect of the tenants need to pay the landlords need to pay the banks need to pay their investors and their shareholders and their stockholders and so forth. So you can bet that the moratorium is not a permanent thing. So those of you who are taking your time, or worse than that, not even looking around as to how you're going to get back on track and back in the groove of making those monthly payments, the old rule of no pay, no stay will come back to haunt you, and we will get to a normal economy again, where you get what you pay for, and you don't pay for something, then the mortgage will foreclose, the landlords will evict, and that is part of the economy that you will see come back again. So that'll be something that we'll talk about also on our midweek report. When I saw that, that was a very eye-opening thing, and you can bet that there's a lot of money in the lobbies, with the banks backing them up. They want to make sure that they have their collateral restored, and that they're able to enforce the contracts, and that's also very important overall for law and for the economy. So it's going to be a very, very interesting week ahead. I think that you have an opportunity to grab this information, increase your income, increase your real estate holdings, and the ultimate idea that a real estate investor looks at this is having a portfolio of properties is an ongoing income. And as time goes on, as inflation grows, you're able to raise the rents. As you've seen, rents are higher today than they were 20 years ago, than they were 50 years ago, than they were 100 years ago. In some areas of the country, the increases may seem flat or slow, but trust me, go back long enough, you'll see that rents over time, as inflation affects that area, it will go up. And so as a landlord owning a rental property, that is a never-ending source of income. Folks are always going to need a place to live. They may need less retail, they may need less office space, but it certainly isn't going to be in the area of a place to live. And so the value of that asset goes up, and that asset goes up as a single asset. Think of it now as a portfolio and as a business. Now you have something that's grows in value as a business, and that business can also be sold. So you're generating far better than what you're going to be able to do by simply saving 5, 10, 15% of your salary, putting it into an IRA account at some conservative growth rate, because you don't want to invest in something that's highly risky or volatile, like many growth stocks in an IRA, where that's what you're looking for to retire on. In fact, if you remember some of the other statistics we gave you showing that the average retiree who owned real estate was way, way better than those without real estate. In fact, the net worth of a renter was something like $6,000 versus the net worth of a homeowner at retirement was more like $250,000. Now put that together with an IRA, now we got something to talk about this week. So the music is coming in. That means it's time up for today for our Monday edition. And that's our agenda for the week. Got a lot more for you coming ahead. Remember our Tuesdays, tools, tips, and techniques. Wednesdays, midweek report. Thursday, about the money. And then we'll wrap it up all again here on Friday. And then we get ready to start it over again. So that's it for today. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And you do the same. And we'll wrap that up. Take care out there. For those of you watching us on YouTube, we got some really cool things coming up on YouTube. I saw just the design of our new YouTube channel. That's going to be very cool.